Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. Jazz vocalist and pianist Karrin Allyson's latest Concord Jazz release, Round Midnight, is a very bold and courageous approach to how she's bringing light to new jazz standards that many musicians have been playing for the last 70 to 80 years. Songs like Sending the Clowns to Round Midnight, she not only sings, but she also plays piano on the whole entire CD, which is a first for Karrin. Tonight we're going to sit down and talk about this brand new CD. We're also going to talk about the approach of her playing and singing at the same time, as well as leading her own band. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of Miss Karrin Allyson live at the Blue Note.
Forgive me if I seem to preach, but there is something that I have to say, a message that I hope will reach people who are throwing life away. Call it my philosophy. That is why I pass it on to you, because it works so well for me. Helps me get away from strife. I hope you listen carefully. To say the truth will make you free, but that's the way you want to be. Cause brother, this is your life. As long as you're living, always remember, time is for spending, but there's an ending. While you are sleeping, life is a creeping. Wake up and taste it. It's foolish to waste it. Sample and savor all of life's flavor. As long as you're living, as long as you're living, always remember, folks who are lazy are playing crazy. You got to keep moving, keep on improving. You won't be hurried after you're married. Live every minute and put yourself in it. As long as you're living.
Karrin, this album, you're really going back to the rudiments of the song. I want to know how you chose all of these songs, because we're going from Bill Evans, we go to the title song, Round Midnight, Sophisticated Lady, Duke Ellington, Sending the Clowns, Stephen Sondheim, The Shadow of Your Smile. I mean, you're going into a new vein in bringing light to these new songs.
Well, thank you very much. I've always loved, every one of them is a favorite song of mine, for one. And it's late night listening stuff. And I imagine myself or someone else coming in to hear us late at night, sometime walking in from a cold store. Maybe they're a little bit heartbroken, and this band with this singer and pianist just does this tune after tune, heartbreak after heartbreak. But hopeful, there's a strain of hope in it too. It's not just heartbreak.
I hope you weren't going through anything tumultuous when this comes out, because I know musicians, oh, this was the heartbreak record. No, I think another thing that we have to bring to light to also, this is the first time that you actually played piano on the entire project.
That's right. That's right. And in a way that's perhaps more personal, even though I feel all of our projects are personal to me. But I did most of the arrangements, and I'm on all the keyboards on it, so it's special to me in that way too.
Some of these songs really are kind of like the signature songs of the artist or the composer that wrote them. I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions in brief. What does Turn Out the Stars, Bill Evans? What does that song mean to you, and why did you decide to interpret this for this project?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always loved the tune when I heard Bill Evans do it, and it's usually kind of a swinging four. And I didn't know that there were lyrics to it. I came upon the lyrics not long before we recorded this project, so it's not been in my repertoire for very long. And so I discovered these lyrics by Jean Lees, and I thought, wow, what a beautiful piece of poetry, really. And it seemed to lend itself to doing it as sort of a waltz. Yes, I put it into 3 because I felt like it helped the lyrics read better. And it's just, I can visualize turning out the stars. You know, when your world feels like it's pretty much going to end, you know, then that's what you're thinking.
Thelonious Monk's signature Round Midnight, which is the title of your album. Everybody has a different interpretation of this. What does that song mean to you?
Oh my, I've been singing that one for a long time, and then I let it go for a while. I mean, Monk was one of my first influences. I love playing his stuff, and singing his stuff. I love Carmen McRae's tribute to Monk album, which is fabulous. And Round Midnight it's one of the most classic standards that exists today, and it always will be to me. It's another heartbreak tune. It begins to tell Round Midnight. I do pretty well.
You really go hard on Sending the Clowns, which is Stephen Sondheim's swan song. Tell me, I mean, that is a Sarah Vaughan record, and now this is a Karrin Allyson record now.
Well, thank you, because I'm very familiar with Sarah's version of this, and she and I are obviously completely different singers, and I took it more of an introspective way. Well, hers is completely introspective too, just different voices. Ours is more of a bossa approach, and that one, my guitarist Rod really came up with some beautiful changes and harmonies on that, which make a big difference, I believe. I've been playing that song for years when I was doing piano bar situations, and for 5 hours a night. That one was one of my staples. Brought it back into the fold for this.
You grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. Your father was a pastor, and tell me about how Miss Karrin Allyson got into music.
My mom is a beautiful classical pianist still, and she's the one who started us all, my 2 sisters and I, out on piano. And so I thought that was going to be my thing. Growing up, I took a lot of piano lessons. It was actually my major in college at University of Nebraska at Omaha, classical piano. So, and my dad, as you said, he was a pastor. So we had we had music in the church, but it was a Lutheran church. Let's face it. It's not, it was not gospel or anything like that. So there was a lot of Bach. There was a lot of just regular Lutheran music. But my mom was also a choir teacher, and she told me she could always count on me opening my mouth and just coming, being present. And so that's pretty much how that started. So again, jazz kind of came for me late. I mean, it wasn't until college that I really was bitten hard by the jazz bug.
I understand that one of your instructors introduced you to one of my favorite jazz records, Cannonball Adderley, Nancy Wilson. You had an epiphany when you heard that album. That's
exactly right. I sure did. When I heard Nancy and Cannonball riffing back and forth together in these beautiful, simple, soulful arrangements that really make the lyrics speak, yet it's still a real jazz album. It's not a jazz band accompanying a singer trying to be a jazz singer. It was a real complete thing to me. And it's not that I thought about it that way then, but now that I think about it, that's what really turned me on about it. And such great tunes, So that was really one of the biggest vocal jazz album that turned me on to it all.
Talk about your segueing from vocal and also incorporating the piano, because that's part of your repertoire. So you do, again, this latest album, you're playing piano and singing the entire record, but tell me how that actually crept into your performance.
When I first started to learn to sing jazz, I actually let the piano go for a while. I stood up and sang and was just accompanied. I still did a lot of interaction with the band. I always am. I'm a band member. Much of the time I'm a leader, but back then I wasn't a leader all the time. But I always felt like the piano became my tool to create music, and because I'm a musician who sings, I'm not a singer. And so when I kind of got back to playing more piano on my gigs, because I would do 2 or 3 a night or 2 or 3 a set, and it seemed to get really a good response. And I think it's the songs I choose to play too, because I'm not a bebop pianist. I'm not like Bruce Barth or James Williams or Mulgrew Miller, but I accompany myself, and so it's basically song choices, I think, and how you choose to tell the story.
How easy and how hard is that? Do you feel comfortable doing now? Do you feel comfortable playing, or do you feel like doing half and half when you're doing your live shows?
I'm doing more. I'd say that it's more like 70-30 these days, because I also still love to stand up and sing, and it's just a different feeling, and move around a little bit. I like to play a little percussion, so it's about 70-30 these days. And yes, it is hard.
I bet it is. Because I look at women like Aretha Franklin, Anita Baker, or Carole King, or even Sarah Vaughan, how hard, because, they're very soulful singers in their own right, and then you got to play it too. That's like running 5 miles with a dog attached to you.
That's funny. Well, sometimes it's easier to play something for yourself than to describe to someone else how to play it for you. And again, it just depends on the tune. I'm not going to sit down and play Joy Spring, but I do love to stand up and sing Joy Spring. Or certain Brazilian tunes I probably wouldn't sit down and play, but certain other ones I would. It just depends on the groove and the feeling of it all.
Sit at the you a song. And since it's so, I thought you ought to know I love you madly. Bigger fish are in the sea. It's not the thing you hold. That's for sure, just like I said before. I love you madly. If you could see the happy you and me I dream about so proudly. You know the breath of spring makes my heart sing my love song so loudly. Good things come to those who wait, so just sit back, relax, and wait for me. Let me see the day you say to me I love you madly. Sweet boom boom, eh. Duke Ellington.
Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities was another part of your life. You moved back, well, you moved with your family. And this was also the time when you decided that you were going to pursue music full time. Explain your period in your transition, because a lot of people just, okay, we're going to do this on the weekends, but you chose to do this full time.
Yes, I did. I'm still thinking about that move. When I was in college, I was gigging on the weekends. I was in a rock and roll band, an all-girls rock and roll band, which was a blast. We had so much fun, and I learned a lot about performing in that with that energy. And so I was gigging on the weekends, going to school on weekdays. And then when I did move to Minneapolis after I graduated from college, yes, I decided I was going to pursue this full time. It was almost, there was no choice. I mean, I think that people who do this don't really think about it that much. You just keep going. You keep going. It's the work. It's getting the work, having that interaction with your bandmates and your audience, and then you're just sort of in this forward motion, and there's no stopping it.
Tell me about vocalists, going back to what we were talking about earlier as far as singing and accompanying yourself playing piano. Vocalists like Shirley Horn. You know, when I think of great, I think the piano kind of enhanced what she did. Do you think that it adds or takes away from your quartet, quintet when you're playing? Because sometimes you can have an overpowering effect on piano and it can kill your band.
Yeah, I had never even thought about it like that. I mean, with Shirley, she was basically the orchestra in a way. She led it. They followed her to the nth degree, and it was a small orchestra. And so everything just enhanced the other. When I think about other pianists who sing, Blossom Dearie, for example, she was a beautiful pianist. And then she'd open her mouth and she had this little girl voice, but this big brain, you know, this very intelligent stuff, and soulful too.
And innocent.
And very innocent, yet very world. She knew some stuff. She was nobody's dummy. So I got to hear her a couple times live too, as I did with Shirley. But and Carmen McRae also played for herself. I never did get to hear her play for herself, but I would like to have. But I know what a great musician she was.
Cheia de luz, festa de sol, eu vou aqui não te deslizar, imaginos o do mar, tudo é verão e você faz num barquinho pela mar que desliza sem parar, sem intenção, de só função, descer, desumar e o som, fechar para o olho, dias dadas, though in the still we feel the thrill of a voyage and only drift around, home by the sun, two hearts as one, melting with enchanted bliss, with each other's kiss. When daylight ends, the slightest sentence, stars a twinkle brightly above.
Allyson, what does jazz music mean to you?
Life to me, because I don't know what I'd do without it. It encompasses everything that I love: intellect, humor, soulfulness, history, swing, of course, improvisation, of course, interaction, and it can lift you up. And that's what it means to me, all those things. And it's one living, breathing organism all the time.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the Blue Note here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank Karrin Allyson for her time, as well as the staff and management here at the Blue Note. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.
Forgive me if I seem to preach, but there is something that I have to say, a message that I hope will reach people who are throwing life away. Call it my philosophy, that is why I pass it on to you, because it works so well for me. Helps me get away from strife. I hope you listen carefully. They say the truth will make you free, but that's the way you want to be, cause brother, this is your life. As long as you're living, always remember, time is for spending, but there's an ending. While you are sleeping, life is a creeping. Wake up and taste it, it's foolish to waste it. Simple and simple.